Questlove Show is a production of iHeartRadio. We're going to be normal today, right? We're going to be... There's just going to be two regular, decular people just doing that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Questlove Show. For the past 6 years that I've been on this platform, I have spoken candidly about my journey. I always think that when I start talking about like the quote unquote journey I've been on, that you guys are like secretly eye rolling me like, here he goes again. But you know, for the three people that turn off before I get to it, I'll say that a lot has happened in my life post 2020 in the name of growth, in my profession, my personal life, my discoveries in the mental health space, even my next musical documentary project, which comes out on HBO this year on Earth, Wind, and Fire, deals a lot in metaphysics. And I will say that at least in the first 4 months before shooting, I dove into almost every book that I could get into from every author of subject, be it Gay Hendricks, Joe Dispenza, Florence Scovel Shinn, Richard Rudd, Neville Goddard, Trisha Hearsay, Nedra Glover. I had to write these down because there's a lot. Barbara Hand Cloud, Tara Swart, David Hawkins, even Napoleon Hill, so on and so forth. But I will say that of all the material that I've immersed myself into, I will say that our guest today, who's probably highly uncomfortable
Not yet.
when I start going in on how impactful this book in particular has been on my life. There are several books in her canon, several books. The Art of Letting Go, I'm the Hero of My Own Life, The Truth About Everything, most popular, probably 101 essays that will change the way you think. The Pivot Year, so many. But of course, my all-time favorite of that canon is The Mountain Is You. And, well, the subtitle, Transforming the Self-Sabotage into Self-Mastery. Her book has reached millions of people, just like me. Any artist that I know, any peer that I know, I've purchased this book. I think I've purchased this book at least 400 times for, like, literally anyone that I know in creativity. I did it because this book entered at a time in my life in which I didn't know I was self-sabotaging myself. Anyway, this is making me uncomfortable now to do. This feels like a Lifetime Achievement Award you're about to receive. Ladies and gentlemen, well, let me just say, Brianna Wiest, I want to thank you for coming to the Questlove Show. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
From 1 to 10, how awkward is this right now?
0. You're all good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're zen now with it. Well, wait, let me give you just a slight background because we're not strangers. I'd like to say that we're between friends and acquaintances, you know. I mean, we're not at each other's house like cooking dinner or whatever, but, you know, I feel lucky that I'm able to text you.
Yes, I would call us friends, Amir.
Okay, we're friends.
Damn. I would say friends.
I'll just say that when we first met, it was surreal for me because I had just started hosting game nights.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's heard about my game nights. And really, game nights are kind of supposed to be a cathartic act on my part to step out of my comfort zone. I like to control the atmosphere from which I'm in. Like, I don't like going out as much, so hiding behind a turntable or a drum set or anything is kind of my way of going out. Like, oh, I went to a club last night, but I also had to DJ that club, so I didn't talk to anyone, but I got to be in that environment. But I'll ask you, how challenging is this part of the journey for you? Because I'm a person that wants to do maximum impact on my gifts, but when it's time to the reciprocation part, to get the love and to meet people and to be one-on-one and all those things, I'm Captain Hide in Plain Sight Smurf.
Same.
Despite looking like this, like.
Same. I understand.
Like, taking my hair out now is like a major challenge. Like, do I got to, you know, but also I'm not fooling anyone. I'm still me.
Yeah.
For you, what is it like that we now forced you to be our guru. Like, against your will.
And that's actually a really accurate way to describe it too.
Okay, so the reason why I was slow to say the friend part only is that because I'm that way too, I so don't want to freak you out.
You're not.
Like old, Trix Rabbit or the Cocoa Puffs commercial. Like, okay, Mia, just make her feel normal today.
We can be friends.
Okay, cool.
As of today, let's agree we're friends.
We are friends, yeah.
As of right now. No, you know me. If left to my own devices, I would live at my mountain house and never be seen again. And, part of that is just, that's where I feel free and happy and inspired. But the other part of that, and this is a visual I've had for years, is it's kind of like you graduate high school and then someone throws you a graduation party and you're sitting upstairs and you have your arms crossed and you're staring at the wall. And it's like, well, you already did the hardest part, come down and, enjoy it. I've just noticed for everyone, really, it's like, it's almost easier to say like, oh, I have to work really hard to earn something or to deserve it. And then when it's a matter of just show up, just your presence can be enough. I find that to be somewhat universal, just kind of like, is it? And the answer is, of course it is. But also you're about game nights too. I just, as an aside, I have so many stories about those I've never told you.
Oh no!
No, good ones. Well, actually, I don't know how good. Like, one time I think like I scared Ali Wong into leaving.
Wait a minute! No, I hit Ali. I texted her.
Did you text her and tell her like that's a normal person? She belong there.
I so vouched for you. Like I brought.
Oh my God, okay, thank you.
She has your books. She definitely knows who you are now. Yes.
Okay, because in that moment, you reach a certain point of the night where like your inhibitions are gone, and so I see her and I'm like, oh,
we were
God.
drunk. No, I'm playing.
Yeah, well, that was my polite way of saying like a few drinks, and I'm like you just lose it, and so I basically corner her, right? And I'm like, I love you, and she's like, oh, and I mean, I'm not kidding. For a second, she like almost looked over her shoulder like to look for security. Like for a split second, was just like, oh, hi, and I was like, I was just so weird. I was like, I love you so much, and she was like, oh, it's great. She was so composed and polite, and I was hysterical. And then I said like the weirdest thing I could possibly say to her. I was like, I really used to fall asleep like watching your specials all the time. She was like, oh.
Why? Wait a minute.
Like I used to watch them at night, but it just came
that was
out.
a red flag for me.
I know it was like the most awkward thing that you could say to a person, because what are you saying? Like they're boring? And I'm like, no, I just mean I love you. I watch your stuff. And so by the end she's handling it so well, and I'm just like leaned all the way in, and she's like, well, I have kids, so I have to go. I was like, okay.
You hit me immediately afterwards.
It's like, can you tell her I'm not a...
If it were anyone else,
if
it were anyone else, I would have just been like, all right, no, they'll be cool, man. I knew Ali didn't know who you were, but I also know that I don't want to be when a person finds a new toy, or when a brand new vegan, or a new, we're laughing at that person the person that wants to force you at gunpoint to try their way at life and try this. And I'm very careful on how I spring this on her. Like the fact that she came to game night was like, I've been trying for at least 6 other times to get her to come. But I think it's hard to explain to people like the absurdity, like the reputation of it now is out there. So now it's like, oh, everyone wants to come. But in those first like 4 times,
right,
it was just like,
well, now she's never gonna come back.
No, once I explained who you were, and I'm telling you, I'm your biggest champion. Like I have,
thank you,
my entire community. Now, trust me, I landed the plan for you.
Thank you for doing that. I think it was all fine then. For those listening, Amir is playing it cool, but he actually has been like my personal, unpaid, unofficial PR
person
for like years.
No, man, it's just that I don't know if I directly told you, but I think I've shared this story here before, that oftentimes when a person is self-sabotaging, they don't know that they're self-sabotaging.
Mm-hmm.
And even more intense, they're self-sabotaging, but then there's a step beyond that. A good friend of mine, Lauren Zander, came up with a term called mana-fucking.
Oh my God, I was going to bring this up, yes.
You can manifest or you can mana-fuck it. And
can you please write a book with that title?
That's Lauren's word. You know, she's in the same space as well.
I'll tell Lauren to this.
Yes, she will. I told her to trademark it already. Yeah. But the first time I heard "mana fucking" was her basically telling me the night of the infamous slap at the Oscars.
Oh yeah.
She told me I mana fucked that moment, and I was in denial at first, like I didn't mana fuck that. And she was like, yeah, like who but you is scared of his own shadow and scared of leadership and scared of shining his light? Like anytime you turn around, you're finding a way to dim your light. And there's a way to actually inherently ask the universe to create a distraction. So she said that I know you, and I know that you were so, shit scared of that moment of winning and elevating yourself and being a leader in that stuff, that you told the universe, if there's a way to distract me getting glory from this moment and take it away from me, I will take it right now. And then suddenly that moment became centered around the slap, and no one knows about, industry people know, but I sat down and then I thought about it. And the person I was dating at the time, she was next, gave me "The Mountain Is You." And then that's when I first learned what self-sabotage was. And so, oftentimes I'm in a position in which I'm the passenger. I'm in the passenger seat to many an artist. And artists have a tendency to overthink, and then they just get spiraled in this endless sea of yarn that they can't get themselves out of.
That's well said, yeah.
And so any artist I've ever worked with, I gave this to them. I'll say for at least half of them, I know that they've read it. I know that 25% of them, like, they were transformed. And
really,
even the night that you first came, the amount of people, when I had to whisper to them, okay, you remember that book that I got you for Christmas last year? That's the author right there. And the way that they will, the nail, like imprints of them grabbing my arm.
It's hard for me to imagine.
But me also telling them, do not say a word. I don't want you to freak her out. Like, I had to hold at least 4 people back, And actually, I think when the night that JoJo met you, I think I just got her that book maybe a week ago. So,
no way. She's another one. She's a friend now.
Yeah.
I'm seeing her in like a week, but initially she was another one that I was like moving things off the table, and I was like, with my arms out, I was like, hello. And she actually knew me, actually. So thank you really made that connection.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, you're doing the Lord's work. Can I ask, do you ever have fears of letting people down or disappointing them? And how do you handle it?
Yeah, all of the time. I think that I try to just find my inner stability in just thinking like I've done my best and I'm doing the best that I could possibly do with what I've got. And even if, sometimes I feel like it's almost harder to feel like I'm failing myself. But I think that when it comes to trying not to let other people down, I think, you would imagine that people would, want me to be, so perfect and so put together all the time, but I actually find more often that their touch point with me is kind of a check-in, like they want me to affirm, which the answer is yes. Is it okay to not have it figured out, even where I'm at now? And of course the answer is yes. And I feel like they find a comfort in connecting over the fact that, look, we're literally all just figuring it out, until the very end of this thing. And I feel like just being as authentic as I possibly can be, I feel like if I focus on the connection with that, then it kind of alleviates that fear of, am I enough or not enough? Because if I get into the am I enough game, is when I really will never win in my own mind. So like if I can focus instead on like what's true to me and what's the connective tissue here, then I feel like it goes deeper than, am I enough or not?
Basically pre-2020, and this is really true for maybe a lot of people in my field, I don't know what umbrella you will put me under. I mean, I guess I'm under the hip hop generation or Black Gen X generation.
I was going to ask, I was like, what is, I feel like you have many.
I have no idea where I belong. I'm just kind of omnipresent. You know, hip hop culture is like hustle culture. And hustle culture basically means that your brain is going to be your GPS. And
That's
you have to
really
meticulously plan everything. And you have to be in control of everything. And I noticed probably maybe around the time I turned 30 that between the balance of like brain and heart, that maybe I was like 95% brain and 5% heart. Somehow I managed to numb myself. Even with like music even became a technical thing, a scientific thing. I'm known for like studying how the mechanics of music are and da-da-da-da-da. Yet, if you were to tell me right now, Amir, I want you to get on those turntables and spin 10 songs right now, I'd probably panic because, I need 4 hours to plan this meticulous genius thing. Now, if you give me all the time in the world to plan stuff, I'll come up with something like mental level. But it also shows me like, I don't operate by my heart anymore, like the passion of it. I'm now just in a technical, scientific. So I had to learn how to undo all those things after 2020. But for you, like, is that the same thing? Like, is it a struggle every day? Well, because I saw a recent headline where it says that we need to stop asking what is our purpose in life.
Oh, yeah.
Or I don't know if it's a misquote or not. I mean, I generally agree with the sentiment. My whole thing is that if you're in hustle culture, that basically means that something traumatic happened in your past, which then will scare the bejesus out of you to only make you think about the future. Yeah. And, you know, I was one of those people that, like, had a vision board and all these things and, you know, what goals in life do I want? So for you, how is one supposed to really, truly live in the present? Especially, how do we find Zen space in the present that we're in right now?
Well, you're talking about, you know, the head versus the heart.
Yeah.
When I think about creating, to me, it's like two vehicles. It's like two different cars that I drive. And so when I'm sitting down and I'm writing and I'm making a book or just anything that I'm making, it's coming all from my center place. It's coming all from the litmus test entirely is just, does this move me? Am I with this? Do I feel this? Does this resonate for me? Is this changing me just to create it? And when you're in that place, I can't think of the audience. I can't think of the reader. I can't really think of, actually, if I start thinking about anyone else reading it or anyone else seeing it, I'll kind of freeze up so much I won't even be able to, you know, move through it. You know, I allude to nature so many times. It's obviously in that particular title, but woven throughout, I would say that that's been such a profound muse for me. But I also think that what it allows me is the space to feel unobserved or unseen, but in a positive way where I feel free. And writing has been one of the greatest loves of my life. You know, whether nobody ever read it, it would still have always been one of the greatest loves of my life. And when I started doing it 15, however many years ago, I kind of made a promise with myself, which was, okay, you create freely, and we're always going to take a pause between what's on the page and what, you know, goes into a book. So you feel like you always have that space to just not be self-conscious and just create. And then, so that's kind of vehicle one. That's my heart vehicle. And then when I get into the second one, you know, that's when it's like, okay, well, it's going to go out into the world, and, you know, what does the cover look like, or what, you know, should I be doing? And then it's kind of more of that like mental and strategic. So to me, it's like it's utilizing both, but it's knowing when. And something that helps me a lot is I think that the heart tells me what and my head tells me how. And then when we switch them, I think that's when we can sometimes feel really stuck or lost, when we're trying to have the head tell us, you know, what, and the heart tell us how, because I feel like that's not their jobs.
What is your morning routine? Or what is it supposed to be when you're not traveling and lobby calls at, 5 a.m.?
Yeah. So I have a lot to say about a morning routine, actually. buckle up.
Oh, you're about to knock down my Jenga?
No, I'm not. I promise.
No, I'm ready for it.
When I was really actively like writing the books, the first thing I would do every single morning is wake up and write before I did literally anything else. And I did that to really just strengthen that muscle. I really believe that creativity is a muscle. Mm-hmm. So it would be the first thing I did, even if it was just for 15, 20 minutes. And I did that for years.
You write manually or just grab your laptop?
Either one.
Okay.
Either one. Sometimes I would just grab the laptop. Sometimes it's just faster with my hands. Do you know what I mean? Just to get, it's like I'm losing the ideas before I can even just write them with my hand. Mm-hmm. If not that, I go outside and go for a walk. And especially when I have a coffee and just to be outside and get clear. When I'm working or traveling, it's a little bit different. Like this morning, I went and got a coffee and, went to the lobby and, had a minute to just kind of breathe and let things set. So, I've read all the books and I, for years have felt like, I need to, have a really optimized morning routine like so many people do, and it's so effective for them. Mm-hmm. And I found a lot of the time that if I tried to override what my, body, mind, spirit, and life were telling me I needed in that moment, because I thought that's what I should be doing, it would almost have like a counter effect on me. Like I'd become less productive because I tried to like wake up at 4:45 like everyone says you should, and like exercise first thing. Like I'm someone that like exercise exhausts me. Truly.
Yeah. Yeah, like, damn
truly,
it. It is exhausting.
But everyone else says like, it's very it gives them energy, and I that makes sense to me, and I understand it, but I just found that for myself, like I would sit down and I'd really be starting to get into it and I'd be like, oh my God, I've got nothing left. So that's kind of when it clicked to me, like, right, well, if you know that you're the clearest and like the most productive in this time, to use that time for what really, really like counts. And so whether that's, being outside doing something I love, walking, something I love, or writing. Also, something about writing first thing is that it was almost kind of like I didn't have time to get in my own head or stop myself.
Okay, so do you understand the laws of theta mind state?
I vaguely, but
yeah. So I mean, basically, your brain is divided into 5 parts: alpha, beta, theta, delta, and gamma. And of course, the alpha is hyper aware of everything. Like this is the color white. This is wood. This is like a sweater. And this happens a lot for songwriters, which is why most of the creative and successful people do take advantage of the 4 a.m. It's said that the first 45 minutes of your day when you're like struggling to wake up, when you're pressing the snooze button one more time, when you're in that sort of state, that's when the genius part starts. Like if you force yourself, it took me like maybe the last 3 years, I've been very, especially for this album that we're working on, like all my ideas come to me the second I wake up. And so, or also the opposite is when you're dead tired. Basically, when you're alpha, the aware part is asleep, then the rest of your brain, which still is awake to operate your heart and the body parts that you don't, that's what guides you. So for you write, even if you're like fully half asleep or whatever, that's
basically. And I think that's also reminds me of something years ago someone told me to do, and it was so incredibly effective, which was to make like a voice note or voice recording of my own voice, saying affirmations, and to fall asleep listening to them, or to listen to them when you just wake up.
I do that all the time.
Do you? I'm not surprised. And then it's something about kind of the like your brain is most impressionable at that time when you're in that state, and then it's kind of like I forget exactly what they were telling me. It was like when your brain,
subconscious state.
Yeah, when your brain hears something right before it falls asleep, it takes it and it kind of logs it as it's kind of it's filing it away in a way that it's not when you're it's, I guess in your what state are we in now?
Well, we're in the alpha
state
right
sure,
now.
Okay.
So, well, that's the thing. Another experience that's almost akin or equivalent to sleeping in that state is driving.
Yeah.
You're fully up. So all the books, when I take your books, any music I create, any books I read, I just, especially back when I was going back and forth between the farm I was staying at and my, it's like a 2-hour process driving back and forth. If you listen to those books, even though you're driving and you're up and you're aware, like you're still in a subconscious state. And that's literally how I learn and take in everything. Like I don't do the whole, I thought it was like repeat 19 times over this thing, that thing. No, I go to sleep, wake up, know it like instantly.
Okay, so this is fascinating to me as well because driving is actually a big part of my process as well.
Yeah.
Like huge. Yeah, I would say that. I rode the Mountain Zoo in Big Sur, and I lived there for a few years. And when I was first going there, I'm driving down Highway 1, and this is the first time I ever had this experience. I think for me personally, it was the combination of what nature like that does for me, but also it's the element of driving, of putting myself in that state. I seriously would be pulling over on the side of the road, like mid-drive, because I'm like, I can't even get, and I couldn't even get it out fast enough.
Downloads are crazy.
Yes, like I can't even write this down fast enough. And I think the very gross way I was describing, I was like, it's like throwing up.
It is.
It's like I couldn't control it, but then also what was more amazing about it was if I didn't write it down as fast as I could, it's like I would lose it. Do you know what I mean?
There's nothing worse than
right. And so you're just
for you at least it's words. Like it's more horrible when you're trying to hum bass line, and the next day you get to it and it's just like and. I lost it forever. But for you just voice memo it or
write it down or write down the key words or idea if I can't get the whole entire thing out. But that's pretty much how I've written that whole book. And I would say I have 2 poetry books, and I would say that those came through the exact same way. Like it wasn't something I had to really think about or deduce or intellectualize my way through at all. It was just kind of it just hit you. And then there it was.
Do you have a musical talent?
No, I don't think so.
Man, if I can channel this present mind state of you right now into a music channel, your songwriting would just save all of us.
It's funny you bring that up. It's not off the table. It's not off the table if one day.
Yeah, even if it is, when you said poetry and stanzas, I was like, Jesus Christ, you could be a song.
It's one of the dreams out there that I have for my life, maybe in the future. Well, so let's check back in a little bit.
I will.
I would also I would love to sing, and I grew up singing,
right.
And I don't think I'm super great at it. But do you know what inspires me though?
What?
So many people that I hear that sign on for movies and they learn either an instrument or to sing for the role. And I'm like, well, okay, if you could learn that.
Method acting. Yes, there you go.
Maybe I could learn too.
What is your earliest memory in life?
Oh, what a beautiful question. I have a few.
Okay.
I remember being in the grassy green area of my apartment complex when I was 1 or 2, and my dad was teaching me to walk. And I remember feeling frustrated that I couldn't. Yeah, that I could
put pressure on yourself as
yes, which tracks if you know me now like that.
Right. Okay.
I remember that, and actually, I wish I had my phone to show you the picture. I just found this photo of myself when I was maybe 3 or 4 years old, really super young, and I think it was a school photo, and the fit. I have a cheetah shirt on, a matching cheetah bow.
Okay.
I was wow. And in the picture, I'm holding this blue puzzle piece in a really kind of awkward way. They kind of pose you like this. It's like a school picture. And I remember having a coherent thought at that age of really not liking that blue puzzle piece. I felt like it was so forced, and I felt like they were really ruining the moment and the picture. And I'd gotten all ready for this picture, and I was like, this just so isn't it.
And what'd you do?
I mean, I did it because, I didn't put it down, but I look back at that picture and I'm like, I remember not liking this then. And you know what? I was right. It was too forced. And the blue clashed.
And to this day, you don't like that photo?
To this day, I look back and think, you know what? I should have said something at 3 because I knew. And then the last, it's a lot of memories.
Okay.
The last one. I remember falling asleep reading. And I didn't have a TV in my room, but I had a lot of books.
What were your go-to books as a child?
Oh my gosh.
You're not one of these Potterheads, are you? Oh, whew, okay.
No, I think I did have the books though.
Okay.
I think I
No, I just
probably
went
read
through
the
a
first
phase
one.
where, like, girls who be genuinely shocked, like, you never read Harry Potter. Like,
People probably have that reaction too. Have you seen the movies though?
for a person that immerses himself in the culture of cinema and all those things, if it's art house films or Criterion Collection or any of those things, like the back of my hand, because I lived in a Roots tour bus for 18 years, and so watching movies was a surefire way to pass the time between 13-hour trips between cities. But much to their horror, when it came to like the classics, what do you mean you never seen Godfather? What do you mean you never seen Star Wars? What do you mean? So I had to, I think during the pandemic in quarantine is when I literally caught up with everything that I've been shamed about.
Oh my God, wait, I'm the same way.
What is your top 4 or 5 movies that you've been shamed about having never seen?
Oh,
name them.
You gotta just have.
Every good movie.
No, this is real. We were watching Holes in the hotel 2 nights ago.
Holes?
Yeah, you know Holes?
Maybe I need to be shamed. What's Holes?
It's based on the Louis Sachar book.
I gotta watch it.
Patricia Arquette's in it. Sigourney Weaver.
Okay.
I've
not heard of this, and I make movies.
Shia LaBeouf is in it, and it's and he's really young. And
I've heard of this now. Okay.
And I like to watch repeats too of things that I loved when I was young. So that was a favorite when I was young. Because we were literally, I have missed every good movie in the last 5 years, but don't worry, I own Holes and have watched it and know the lines.
So is this your favorite film?
Oh God, you know what? We can't say that. It's up there. I'm really letting people know me now.
All right. What hill are you gonna die on? What is your favorite movie?
Oh.
Go ahead. I know it's corny.
It probably is.
I seen the answer, and then now I seen your brain racing for more
something cooler. Okay, but wait, I'm gonna stand by it though. I really love Labor Day. Do you know Labor Day with Kate Winslet?
No, Labor Day.
And Josh Brolin, is that the other? Who's in it?
I gotta watch it.
That movie, I feel like it came out maybe 2014, and I thought to myself, what a beautiful depiction of like pragmatic, practical love. And I just thought that it had a way deeper message than what was on the surface.
Okay.
And I love that movie a lot. And Before Sunset, after that, I guess
before, yeah, I love
romance,
this.
yeah, really beautiful.
Have you ever seen Defending Your Life?
No.
Albert Brooks. All right, so I've had, especially in light of the movie I just did, one of the things I had to sort of release myself from, were just the kind of fire and brimstone religious dogma that I've been just force-fed throughout my life.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
when I'm in one of the Pixar films, Soul, of which Soul was the first time where I was like, this is actually what I think happens to your body when you die.
Yeah,
like that whole journey. And Defending Your Life is by Albert Brooks, and he essentially has to, in a flash, he's dead. Similar to the story of Soul. Like, he wakes up one day and he's in essentially what you call purgatory. And he has to go to kind of a court with a jury and lawyers and a judge and whatnot, and defend his life. And essentially, what he's being accused of is not living life to the fullest, not defending himself, not loving himself. And they're going in on him. Like the time where he got beat up in first grade, and didn't defend himself and all these. Wow. And it's a lesson where essentially in kind of a Christmas Story, Jacob Marley, Scrooge way, like he wakes up like renewed, like seizing the day and that sort of thing. someone recommended it to me. And
what is it called? In defense?
Defending your life.
Defending your own life.
Yeah, defending your life. And I never knew that never knew it existed. And to me, it's like one of the most powerful messages that.
It sounds right up my alley.
Just what you would love this film.
There's 2 questions I always ask cool people that I get to meet or know, and I've never asked you. Mm-hmm. Number 1, is there anyone you have ever been truly starstruck by?
The way that Q-Tip kind of ambushed me with the news that in 60 seconds I'm about to meet Prince for the first time.
Okay.
There's really there's no describing what the feeling is, because there's a lot of things you have to deal with. First of all, one is meeting Prince, but then in those first 30 seconds, you're sizing him up. You're trying to figure out, like in your brain, you're like trying to figure out. Yeah, he's about 5'2", but also the circumference of his actual head size to his body. Like, I just remember wanting to figure out what his head. It's like, holy shit, it's Prince, and then you think of every moment he's ever changed your life musically.
Yeah. And
then how tall you are to him, and then how large his head is, and then similar to you, Ali Wong. The only thing I could the only thing I could get out was, and he led perfectly. He led with, "Yo, man, that video was so funny. I love that song in that video." So now I got to deal with the fact that he knows what I do for a living, and like, wait, how you watch TV? And so all that was coming into play, and then all I could muster up was, I said, I think the last chord on "Dinner with Dolores" is one of the best postmodern endings of a rock song in the past 40 years. And he was just like,
"Wow, well, damn, what?"
Well, it was he had a. Also, I'm having this conversation in front of Lenny Kravitz.
Oh God.
Quincy Jones, Mariah Carey, and Quincy's daughter was with him, Kadada, Rashida's older sister. So they were hearing this too. So it kind of just went over like you could hear a pin drop, and it was like, I gotta go. Bye.
That is so funny.
And I went upstairs like, you ruined it. And then an hour later, I came back to try to redeem myself and said something even more awkward about his music.
That was me and Allie. I was like, "What did you just do?" And I was like, "It's okay. I'm just gonna."
I've scared many of people. So what was your second question?
Oh, this is just like a broad overall, like your whole life. Mm-hmm. How has fame been for you?
Here comes an eye roll of everyone listening. I don't feel famous.
Yeah, I understand that.
And oftentimes, I am aware that I will self-evidence that, why I don't deserve it, or why I'm not in this club. Which is also silly. Like, there's a part of me that knows that what I've achieved and all those things. But oftentimes I just find myself in situations where it's right down the middle. It's either, dude, you absolutely changed my life, or it's someone that's like, and you are, and I'm like, Amir Thompson.
I ask a lot of people those 2 questions, and the first one, they almost always have a really funny story to tell, and the second, I think you'd be surprised, or maybe not, that the answer is pretty consistent with what you just said.
I often get frustrated when I ask people. Last time I was here, I talked to Jamie Lee Curtis, and she's still like 40 minutes in. I was like, "Oh, you really don't know you're Jamie Lee Curtis? Like, you're." Right. So
I actually think she doesn't. Too.
She doesn't. But it's also, but then, the thing that I wrestle with is that, there's a quote that Nelson Mandela says. Actually, she mentions this on her episode. it's Nelson Mandela quoting someone else, but it just leads to like, who are we to like dim our lights or like
I know exactly what you're talking
right
about.
that. And so I'm more hyper aware of, am I serving a purpose? You know, because number one, this is rare air for people in the hip hop community, because once you get 20, your primary shot when you're 20 is you want to avoid getting shot, dying. And trust me, when you're between 20 and 30, especially when I turned 30, it was like, I made it. You know, everyone else was 24, 25, 20, 27, dying. And it's not exclusive to hip hop either. Like, you know, it's just kind of expected. And then it's like, oh, I made it. And then I realized that the second test was even harder than not getting shot, which is health. Should we be eating this burger at 3 a.m, guys? Should we, you know, like, we're now aware of that part. And now the last go round is just the mental health of it all.
Oh, yeah.
I've had in the last year alone, and, you know, I've wondered, is there a pandemic happening that I'm not aware of? I'll say for me, in the last 8 months, I've lost 11 friends to stage 4 cancer.
Oh, my God.
Like, even the day that I found out D'Angelo had cancer, D'Angelo was the 6th person in a 24-hour period that broke the news to me. And even then, it was like in humor, because 5 other people had broke the news to me like earlier that day, and speaking to him late at night. And it was like, what you got to say? And I was like, dog, just don't say stage 4 cancer, whatever. And he was like, wait, who told you? And I'm like, what? And literally, wow. But I also feel as though I have a heavy belief that our everyday existence, which is why I'm so vigilant in, I mean, not a routine or a process, but just being in the mind state, especially now where we could doom scroll. And some days I do wake up and I do doom scroll. I do, oh God, we're going to die. Are we going to live? People looking for me for the answers. Am I doing enough with my platform? Should I be doing more? Should I be doing more? Like, all the anxiety builds up. But I also know that is the open door to letting in diseases and all those things. So
yeah, like, that's really well said.
Every decade there's a new challenge to overcome. So I mean, right now.
So you feel like you're at the one. It's just like health and longevity.
I'm on the how do I. Usually by this point, people, they'll choose religion. Like, of my age, I'm supposed to now, like, I'm gonna go back to the church and become a preacher, or like. People choose religion. And, you know, I mean, I feel as though every practice has been tainted. Religion, spiritual, like all the areas have done so. Right now I'm leaning more towards the metaphysical side of things, which basically the only difference I feel between the two is with religion, you are talking to God like he's Santa Claus. And I need this and I need that. Da, 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 da. And metaphysics is just you sitting silent and listening for God, the opposite.
Have you ever heard the phrase that I believe it's Zen, it's not to think about God while you wash the dishes, it's just to wash the dishes? Yeah. Living
in the present to me is, I speak of the 2020 pandemic period as a point in time. At the time when I was living in it, I would have thought it was the apocalypse.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God, who died this week? Who died this week? What, you know, am I going to live? You know, and then, but the more growth I did, I started feeling guilty because I'm like, damn, was 2020 like the good old days? Like, why am I now having fond memories of all the growth I did in 2020 and whatnot?
Also, as an aside, can you believe it was 6 years ago?
Dude,
I can't.
It's now turning to fond memories. For some reason, even though it was the darkest time, like I did the most growth and the most change and all that stuff. So now when kind of after the election cycle of 2024, I was like, okay, so you've been telling people that the pandemic's where you did the most growth. And then I'll admit, the second we all went outside and things were normal, and suddenly I started slacking off a little bit. And like just a little bit by little bit, without even knowing it, I found myself in the territory of like, now that I'm safe, like I'm back to square one again. And I saw where we are right now as almost like a round two.
Yeah.
A round two
I
of
understand
growth.
what you're saying.
And
Yeah,
the
I
lesson
agree.
I'm learning this time, I figured the only way to survive where we are right now is literally just one day at a time. And
I
this is
agree.
coming from a person who's a meticulous planner. And okay, in August I'll do this, and in April of 2028 I'll do this, and really it's literally me just waking up and 24
This is
hours.
why you're asking about the present moment. And you had said at the beginning, I was talking about a thing about purpose.
Yeah.
Which is instead of, planning it forward, just being in it now. Yes, on a very literal, practical day to day, I think if we don't just take it one day at a time, I like, to me, that's where your mental health really can slip the hardest. But I think that's something to carry with us always, though, of just one thing and one day at a time, and to find that like stable center as best you can. But the purpose piece that you were asking about initially, I think it can be more comforting to try to plan the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. And I'm a planner too. Like I like that. I feel I feel the most in control when it's like, well, I know I've accounted for all the variables. I know exactly what we're building or creating. I know exactly where I want to be in 2.5 years, and that's the end of the story. But there are things you don't know. There are things, I've been saying this for a million years, that are so good you wouldn't even know to ask for them. And all any of us can really work with is what is right here in this moment. And I think that when we can do, everything we can with everything we have, I feel like it opens doors to places we wouldn't even know that we wanted to go. And the now is something I've written about for like 10 years and been interested in for that long, in that I wonder if, all of these thoughts that we have, whether it's about our past or our future, it's like, but all of that's kind of happening, in the now. And our relationship to the now is kind of really our relationship to our whole life, because it only ever is now. Like we always think like, oh, when I get to this thing, then I'll feel settled and more successful. When I have this, when I do this, and it's like, but when you get there, even there is still the now. It's just an evolved, adapted, different now, but it's still that same relationship. And I think that it requires a lot of, I don't know, like inner work and grounding to just surrender to the now and be in the now and work with the now. And it's something that I have to work on every day.
Hard.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
hard.
I mean, it sounds like I'm making it sound like, oh yeah, I know, just do that. But it's not though.
Well, it's so easy.
Just say.
And I think, and we mentioned this earlier, like, I was raised by, my dad was definitely, like the performative, work hard, grind your knuckles, bleed, do all you can to achieve and get to the top, only for me to find out that, no, actually the opposite is true. Do nothing. Literally it's do nothing and show up, which it's like, well, where's the glory in that? And so, especially now, like I'm excelling in things that I didn't plan on. Like I didn't have
right.
posters on my wall of, a camera or any of these things I'm doing now. So it just all feels so, sometimes I do get mad at the universe, and I'm just like, dude, like if you put me in an environment as a 2-year-old with 5,000 records, and I studied these things meticulously, and me and my best friend started a band in high school. Like, dog, why can't I have the results of what I wanted my music career to be?
Right.
Like, of everything I do, my music career is sort of like, it's not a take it or leave it thing. I mean, I'm glad I'm in a space now where I'm not like depending on this album must be like the anxiety I was living under as Questlove, member of the Roots, year after year. Like this album must be critically acclaimed. This album must sustain us to, and now to be in a place where I haven't released an album in 11 years and I'm still here and thriving even more.
Mm.
So to me, it's also like my ego is a little bruised that, wow, I seem to have all the magic for all these other areas in my life, but the one space where I really want it. But I know there's a reason for it. But also, I'm demanding this new album is what I think it is in my head.
Yes.
So.
You said something before. I'm missing the language now. You said to let go and just show up. What did you say?
Oh, just literally just to go from meticulous planning.
Yeah.
And, often I'll say in the last 5 years, my father's voice is the voice in my head. The way that Morpheus guides in the Matrix,
The Matrix.
All right, make a left in the office and duck down.
Yeah.
And like that's my dad's voice. And his thing is basically shut up and just show up. Like don't you don't have to plan anything. And it's so hard for me to not do research on research and meta research and research on that and research the footnotes and the footnotes of research and all, again, my brain.
What I wanted to add to that was more has happened for me positively in my life just by showing up. Just showing up and for me, it's this mental game of like, am I good enough to be here? Do I just none of the, just show up, and how much that has changed, and also how much people value that, and just knowing that's more than enough. And I was just intrigued by you saying that, instead of that, like that constant forward motion, that constant like effort and strive, to let go and to just be and show up, and then this flourishing that you've seen in your life, that makes sense to me. It also inspires me.
Thank you. Okay, well, I'll ask, what TV show best describes what your childhood was like?
What an amazing question.
I told you I'm going to ask you stuff that no one ever bothers to ask you.
I don't think anyone's ever come up with that before. What TV show is most like my childhood? Can it be a cartoon?
Yeah.
As Told by Ginger.
As Told by Ginger. What is that?
I love that this is the third time.
I feel like such a fraud right now.
You know what? You're all on my case. You're on my case about not knowing things.
She's getting her revenge right now. Like,
As Told by Ginger. She's got like the curly hair and journal.
I will research this. Wow, you got me 3 times already.
This is like.
I feel like by the time we're done, there might be 10 things.
Right now. I know. I'm feeling actually good about this right now. She's going through her life. She's like a young girl, and she really processes through her journal.
And what year was this out?
This must have been 2000s. I don't know when it went off.
As Told by Ginger.
But Macy Gray sang the theme song.
Okay, I'm familiar with the theme. I just never watched the thing. And also, like, I was traveling.
You're busy.
Well, no. I don't want to play it like, when I became an adult, I put away childish things.
I know. I understand.
I watch Animaniacs every day like it's nothing. So, Perfect. I was actively still watching cartoons back then. What posters adorned your bedroom walls in your childhood home?
Oh, I have a vivid memory of this. Britney Spears' Oops, I Did It Again.
Okay.
The poster from that CD, and I had the CD, and she's got like tassels hanging from a doorway. What would you call those?
It's the white and gold.
And she's like almost like holding them open and like standing in between it.
Yeah.
It was Britney. What else did I have? I think that was the most memorable one, but I had a bunch of like random stuff.
Okay.
In rotation. That was notable.
What is a talent that you possess that we don't know about?
Oh, I feel like I have to have one. What's a talent that I possess?
Sourdough bread making or archery or...
I do love to bake. I've made wedding cakes before for people.
Wait, why would you subject yourself to that torture? Really?
Yeah.
You just woke up one day and was like, I'm going to make a wedding cake for someone?
So they asked. And I baked a lot. And, well, it's because...
You made a cake for a wedding or a wedding cake?
Well, cake for a wedding. So a wedding, interchangeable. But wedding cakes are really expensive. and the ingredients really aren't.
So it's just the physics of knowing
yeah,
how to
just
stack
knowing
them.
how to stack them, and then also kind of what like style you want. And
How'd you learn how to make a wedding cake?
I just
Went to
I
YouTube.
just yeah, kind of. I mean, I just knew how to bake, and I just kind of intuitively was like, well, I might just stack this and do that. Wait, that can't be the one. We gotta have another one.
No,
What else am I good at?
That's gonna live rent free in my head.
You can call me actually for baking needs.
I gotta get to the altar, and I'm gonna make you're gonna make my wedding cake.
Just for the sake of it at this point.
You got to, just so I can see it.
Or like at least a cupcake or something.
Yes. No, you're not getting out of this. You're
Okay,
making
the
a wedding
full thing.
cake.
All right, that's why I'll do the full thing.
With the figures on top of it?
Yeah.
And was it executed perfectly?
I mean, it was pretty solid. Obviously, it was like, I was so stressed. I was like hoping it was perfect. It's like a big moment for people, but at the time, it was kind of this like, you would like take this decorating, I don't even know what you call it, panel, and just kind of like move across that. It was almost kind of like a light frosting, so it almost kind of looks like rustic, and there was like a flower on top. So I don't know what kind of wedding cake style you're going for, but send me some inspo pictures and we'll get to work.
All right. What was the worst grade you've ever gotten?
Grade?
In school?
Oh. Well, this is a good story. I cannot believe I'm telling everyone this, but it's time. I failed chemistry.
Okay.
And then I grew up in New York, so we have regents. So I failed the chemistry regents, and then studied because they do them at the end of the summer as well. They don't just do them once a year.
Right.
And studied all summer, and I had a tutor.
You had to go to summer school?
Basically, and
nice.
And then I had like, it's like I don't know if it was like official summer school, but anyway, this is the point is I took it again and then failed it worse. And
okay.
You know that it's bad because my mom called for the grade, and it is really bad when she was like, she wasn't even mad. She just was like, took so much pity on me. She heard the grade. She was like, okay.
She wanted to deliver the news.
Yeah, she was like, you know what? It's going to be okay. Like, she wasn't even upset. She was just more going into it like, you know what?
Wait, can I have those parents?
She's like, we're going to figure this out. And I was like, what? And I'm like crying. And she's like, you know what? Don't even, it's okay. It's okay. Like, but when your parent is going into a place of like just feeling bad for you at this point, like, it's not good.
Man,
I know.
I would.
I know.
Mine didn't sound like that. Wow, that's awesome. I love that story, Indy.
She's a teacher, so she took pity on my life.
I get it. No, that's actually the ideal reaction. I would take that as
a real story.
I believe you, and I envy you right now. I did not have those results in my version of that. Do you have a cry song?
Oh, many.
Song plays and you instantly cry.
I know I do. So many. Probably Celine Dion. Actually, Celine Dion in person. I went to go see her live years ago.
During her residency and
she must have been touring because I think it was in Philly. I cried from the minute she walked on stage till the minute she walked off. The whole time.
What was it about her?
But I find this is about her, but this is about, I feel this way about anyone doing what they were so meant to do, and you can just tell.
Got it.
And even if it's not,
she's intense when she performs. She gets into it.
You're just like taking it, and how she's also, the level of energy and magic she had was, it was amazing.
She came to the Tonight Show, and just as a couch guest, like, she's hands down the most intense couch guest. Like, her interviews are not, it's like something inside her that just.
Yes, I agree.
Absolutely. Celine Dion's probably the confirmation. I think back then I was wrestling with the thought of like Pleiadians or are there other spirits living inside these shells that we call like, I don't believe that we're all from the same ilk. I feel like these are expandable bodies that people that want to visit Earth. So
Yeah.
I believe you're one of those people too, but
Yeah.
What's the last concert you ever attended?
It was Japanese breakfast.
What was the first concert you ever attended?
Oh, I remember this because I was really old. I was like 25 when I went to my first concert.
No, wait, did we have this conversation before?
No, but we're having it now.
Wait.
Yeah, and I had written, hold on. I had written books before I'd been to a concert. Yeah.
I think when we were sitting down playing
Did I already tell you
Uno,
this?
I think I knew this about you. What was your first concert?
It was Lord and Run the Jewels. Which, wow, right, to like start out there.
What?
Yeah.
You just never, were you not, but you're from Philly and New York.
From Long Island, but.
Wait, do you have an accent? Do you have a Long Island accent?
No,
Even you saying that, I was like, wait.
No, this confuses people as well. No, I don't. My dad is from upstate New York, and so my siblings and I kind of speak a little bit more like him, I would say. And then I've also, I mean, I think I kind of never had it, but then also I lived in what you're thinking of Philly, and I lived in Pennsylvania for pretty much my whole adult life until like at end of my late 20s. So then it kind of was really gone by that. And now I'm in California, so it's really gone. But that's why I think that. So, but no, it was Lord and Run the Jewels, and another cry time is when she the end of that show she played Green Light was her closing song,
Right.
And just everyone was up on their feet, and it was like this really transcendent moment, and I started crying.
So what was your thoughts when you went to your first concert? Like,
wow. Well, first of all, it was almost like I was never going to tell anyone that this was the first time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, it's that's you deserve to laugh at me. I know.
I'm laughing at you depriving yourself of just that feeling. Were you ever a club kid? Like, have you heard music in public before? Not your car, not your headphones.
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted
yes, but like that was my first like true like stadium like experience.
Right.
Like full concert experience was that time. But yes, I had heard music before that, and then maybe shortly after, I went to the Jones Beach Amphitheater and I saw the Goo Goo Dolls, and that really.
Oh God. Okay, so we're living in a time now where Iris is being played every 12 seconds on social media.
Yes.
And it's almost when I hear the intro guitar thing is such a jarring.
I know.
No more. With three professionals in this industry, are you the most shocked at that are aware of your work or have your book?
Oh my God. Rick Rubin is up there.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Selena Gomez.
Ah, yes. Okay.
She read 101 essays and was talking about it. I was like, how?
Wait, are you still shocked that people...
Yes, I actually want to circle back. I'm actually floored to this day.
Really?
Yes. I would add you to the list.
No, not... Oh, okay.
You and everyone we know. All of the... JoJo, everyone. Floored by everyone.
What was your life before? I mean, you've been writing since... Your first book came out in 20...
A long time. So I started writing when I was like 19, 20 years old. So it's been a long time.
Yeah, so... For you, would you say that Mountain was the book where it all came together, or was it 101? Like, for you?
I guess technically 101 essays was the one that kind of maybe had more readers. You know what I mean? That was kind of the one. But then The Mountain Is You, I think that was the click moment. But also, it was the click moment for me. Like, writing that book in particular was like even if no one had read it, just writing it was one of the most unbelievable experiences of my life, like truly just internally, going through the whole thing. So I like to think at some level like the readers feel that as well, and so I think that's part of the click. But the factor here is that this was so many years in. I mean, 10 years ago this year, but it was 6, 7, 8 years before I think anyone who really even knew about it, and I would imagine many people still don't. But like,
do you think it was the pandemic effect of people like
wanting to sit down and read? Yeah, kind of.
I think that's the year that we all said, "Hey, now's the time to do some."
Yes, Yes,
work.
that was yes, and that Mountain As You came out in 2020, and I remember, at that time feeling like, wow, like this is the biggest flop and failure of my career, maybe life, like thinking this couldn't have been worse timed.
Right.
And I actually kind of just like gave up on everything for a period of time where I was just like, I know, right?
You thought it was just a pebble with no ripple effect?
I did. I was just like, I don't even care about this right now. Like, this is, I guess, here it is. Like, and then there were logistic things that were like, you couldn't tour. You couldn't, right. So there were logistic parts of, we'd been working on this for so long, and then it was just wiped. But then beyond that, even just internally for me, I was like, whatever. So I was in my own head. I was kind of like, well, maybe in the future we could do like a re-release. I was trying to kind of figure out ways to like doctor it. And years later, I cannot tell you how many people have said to me, like, whether it was then, whether it was 3 years, whatever it was, that book found me at just the right time.
So when were you aware that, wait a minute, this isn't a flop, this is actually turning out to be?
Probably a year or two later.
Or two?
Year or two later.
Not immediate?
No.
Oh, dude, I know for a fact I've read that book maybe 7 times before I even thought, oh, let me buy it for other people. Like,
really?
I just thought.
That's reassuring, but no, it took me a while to be like, okay, no, this is, well, it reformed the way that I think about releasing, which is, and this is important for my process as well, which is, so the same thing with 101 essays, which it's like, I would imagine there are parallels in music here too, which is what happens initially. That's kind of how you measure the whole thing. It's like, how much of a success is it right away? And that's never been my story. And that's never been the case with any of my books. I mean, 101 essays took maybe 7, 8 years. I don't know the exact date, but like many, many years before it kind of hit a, as Malcolm Gladwell would call it, tipping point.
Right.
And so in all that time, it was just kind of, a build. It was just kind of like one reader's passing it to the next, and I'm pretty content with that. But then over time, I've come to find that like they kind of find people right when they're ready for them or wanting of them, and my timing isn't as important as just getting it out in the world, and then it kind of makes its way.
What is your actual creative process? Many comedians I know has colored Post-it notes on their walls. Chappelle always starts with the punchline. And then I ran him over with my car. He starts with the punchline. And then throughout his day, he'll figure out how to get from point A to point B that will make this hilarious. And, for me, I'll have a song idea, but I know it might be for this record or it could be for this next record. For you, though, like, is it just one specific subject that you want to write about and you get it out, or is it just a whole? Or are you just kind of in this a beautiful mind state now where all these ideas come to you and you just figure it out later how to piece it together? And when do you know, like, a project is done? Like, this is the book.
Okay, so it depends. So there's pieces that I will write or have written where, they don't necessarily belong to a book or they're not for anything bigger. It's just, a few paragraphs or a thought. And whenever that comes, I just kind of let it come. If I kind of like move by this principle of if I have to pull over the car for a second and jot it down so I don't lose it, I do. I just kind of honor, when it comes in. And I can't always control it, but I can always control, like the muscle that I'm working. So I can wake up and just practice writing or review things. But that real like strike of like inspiration, when that comes through, that comes when it comes. And so I just try to honor that. Now, for books like 101 Essays and like a few of my other books, even a lot of the pivot year, I would say, that was pieced together, all of these little moments that had happened over time. And I didn't even know, I had no idea really anything in 101 Essays would be a book until way later, until we thought, oh, it would be a good idea. And so then a book like The Mountain Is You, though, is a totally different thing, where I started with just a really clear vision and idea. And first of all, the concept I was just so intrigued by and so entrenched in, if I could even use that word myself, and so like just perplexed by how counterintuitive it is, and also how every single person I knew and had ever known was also doing it. And when we would talk about it, they'd be like, oh yeah, it was just like this instant resonance. So I was so passionate about it, but the idea for that book came in kind of like all at once. And I knew the title and I had an idea in my head for the cover. And it was really, really like I could almost close my eyes and like hold my hands out and know what it was to feel like. And I remember I have this memory with my book designer, the final like file when we were finalizing things, final file of the cover. It was like 36 or 37, versions, because I just kept making her move that little mountain over like one pica. I was like, just a little more to the left. I still don't know if it's fully even. Actually, as I glance over it,
You still have notes.
I still might. But, in that process, she said something to me very intriguing, which is definitely like par for the course of this aspect of the process. She said, when you speak about this, you're not saying, I like this or I don't like this. You're saying like, no, it should be here, or this is or isn't right. Almost as though you feel like it already exists and I'm just trying to make like almost a facsimile of what you already know is there. I said, no, that's exactly what it feels like to me in this case.
Wow. I got to try that process sometimes. Like that's interesting. What's your go-to karaoke song?
Well, how many drinks have I? Oh my gosh, what is I'm blanking, but it's my only song I can sing. Yes, you know it. Give me one reason.
Oh, by Tracy Chapman?
Yes.
I was like, by Luther Vandross? Damn, really?
Tracy Chapman.
I hardly knew you. Okay.
Okay, but even that though, like you got to get me in a really specific headspace to even make that happen.
There's a funny story about when I was working on the SNL doc.
Yeah.
So like Tracy's one of the most. She's a true artist, and she goes on mood and feeling and all those things, and so, Saturday Night Live has been dying to have her like on the show. This is like back in 88, 89. And so what happens is, of course, it's like, hey, Tracy Chapman. All right, what's first segment? Fast car, right? And she's like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, she was in her phase. Nirvana did it too, where they just got tired of doing Smells Like Teen Spirit, so they stopped doing it. And so there was like a big controversy in the fact that she was just tired of doing Fast Car. It's been like a year out. And so she's like, I will only come to the show if, I want to do a new song. And they're like, no, dude, like do your hit or whatever. So, it didn't happen. And then one day like they needed an artist and they wanted Tracy Chapman. And so she comes on, and this is like, I think in 89 or 90. And she does a new song that no one's ever heard before. It was Give Me the Reason, which at the time she's doing it's like 6 years before she will actually release it. So I just remember like the attitudes of the staff was like kind of disappointment. Like, why would she squander such a moment?
I think you would also be tickled to learn that. I say this all the time when I'm like posting writing or revisiting writing. People like to, kind of hear the hits.
The greatest hits.
Like a lot, like more than you would think. So like I kind of for years always went, but like had this idea in my head of like, oh, I always need new material. And then I found that to really not be the case, that they were almost preferring to hear what they love and know. And I always say to Bianca, when it's time, I'm like, it's time to play slide. We're the Goo Goo Dolls, and it's time to play slide. When it's time to post your new life will cost you your old one page.
No iris for you, but slide.
It's time to play slide.
But for you in the space, okay, so for me with music, I can write about music. I can release an album. I can do a movie. There's so many avenues I can do and move around it. But for you, other areas of writing that you're interested, like do you have an inner Nora Ephron inside you? Oh, are you thinking about screenplays? Are you? Yeah, but I think creativity's, you can almost transfer it. Or do you, like right now my comfort zone is music docs.
Yeah, sure.
Know that like the back of my hand. So there's still a carrot on a stick kind of thing where people are like, hey, why don't you try this animated series, or let's do this music biopic. Like, let's get out of the doc era. And it's frightening for me because I just planted my feet here, and I'm like, okay, year 6, now I'm really ready for it, and you want me to pivot on. But for you, what would that equivalent be? Like, do you envision could you do fiction, your own series, or childhood books, or any of those things?
I've had an idea for a fiction book that's like based on a true story of my life for a long time, and it's always been a dream to write a children's book. And I don't even want to compare it to this, because if I ever do it one day, it would never be as good as this. But I would love to write something like The Giving Tree. Something.
Don't fuck yourself. It'll be better than The Giving Tree.
That needs to be the pull quote for this episode. That was perfect.
Don't fuck yourself. Like, I don't want you putting that out there that it may not be as good.
I appreciate the course correction. I aspire for it to give people that same experience where if maybe you're a parent and you're reading it to a child, you yourself are sitting with it and kind of being like, all right, wow, like there's almost something in it for me as well, or something is being explained. There's another children's book, What Do You Do with an Idea, which I thought was just a phenomenal concept, and I wish I had come up with it. So things like that. And I feel this chapter of my life, these types of books, have felt complete for a little bit now. My last book was Great Callings, and that felt like I've been playing with that for so long, and then it kind of felt like the capstone of like a series, if I could call it that.
Right.
And so I do feel a sense of completion with it. Like I feel like I said what I wanted to say, and now I definitely am in a place where I'm interested in. I do, and songwriting would be a dream as well.
Nice. So when you turn in your book, when it's all said and done, close the chapter, what's the process that happens next to you once you let the book go and there's no more writing? Like, can you be, and I mean metaphorically, can you be still? Do you feel, I feel very empty. Sometimes I actually might cry after, and I don't mean like an emotional thing. Like, literally, you just have to let something go out of you. Like, what is the feeling you feel when you regurgitate it and get it all out of you?
Relief, peace. You asked a question similar before that I forgot to answer. And you said, well, how do you know when a book is done? Or how do you know when it's ready to be a book? And my answer to both of these is similar. It's like a little wild, but it's genuine. And if there's like a creative person out there listening, and if you take this back into your own life, it'll be worth it. I have to get to a place with it where you couldn't convince me it's bad. That's how I know it's ready.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to feel it.
Yeah, it can't be other people telling me that it's great. I have to know that it is. And I have to feel that I did the absolute best that I could possibly do.
What's your version of a demo? Like
a draft or a manuscript?
Right now I'm scared shitless. Like, anytime I submit a song to the Roots, like, what do you think? Like, I'm already having excuses. Like, okay, so this is the rough mix, and my voice sounds bad. I'm just giving you the general idea, and they're just like, shut up, Amir, play the song. And, and to this day,
that's the beginning of like, here's the concept, or like, well, okay, so you're asking too about like the creative process, like the technical process of when you're putting that book together in particular. Right. So it's kind of like I umbrella it down, where it's like I have the overall concept of what I know I'm trying to get across, and then I break it down to the chapters. So it's like, right here are my sub points, like here's the next thing I want to get into, and I break it down that way so it can be even, because otherwise I find if I free write it, I front load everything in the first chapter, and then by the end I've got nothing left.
Who do you trust to be your sounding board? Like, who talks you off the ledge?
My fiance and my best friend, and but it depends also on what part of the process we're at, because there's different people I go to for different things. So it's like if it's the concept or the idea, and we're going back and forth, so that if I need a sounding board for that, sure. But then once it gets a little bit farther along, I'm usually asking more technical questions like, does this make sense? Or does this need to be clearer? So it kind of evolves for me.
Right.
But when that final, I've talked about this before, but when I got to the end of writing The Mountain Is You and I wrote those last lines, that is the point of the mountain. I mean, I really mean it. That was a feeling like I've never had before in my life. And I don't know if I will ever have it again because it was just truly such a process to get there. But it was like beauty. It was like awe. It was like relief. It was like surrender. It was almost like it's not even a security or certainty of, everyone will think this is amazing. That's not even in my head yet. It's just more, I know that I did everything I could possibly do with this idea. Like, I feel like I did it justice. And then when I have to get to the point where I feel that peace in me, and then I kind of send it out with this intention, which I do find my books to listen to the instructions I give them, which is, you will find who needs it when they need it. And not a minute before, not a minute after, and who really needs it. And all the people I've ever met are like, people tell me all of the time, like the wild stories about how they're like, it was exactly what I needed, but I was, in my office and my coworker had it on the table, and I was like, oh, what's that? Like these like strange roundabout ways that it comes to them.
Wait a minute. You're saying, I'm not laughing at you. You're literally just Wait. You're literally reminding me, this is the worst. All right, this is the worst Amir story I'm telling of all time. There was one point I've heard on a few sitcoms or whatever, like a baby will be a good wingman, or a dog.
Yeah.
You walk through the park and let me see your dog, whatever. And, like, give me your number, whatever. I remember you said that, and it just hit me. It just hit me. One day I was on a flight, and the way that the seat was structured, and I was in like one of the first rows, like when you get on the thing, and I had this out sitting there, and literally like 7 people were like, "Whoa, yo, I love that book too. Oh my God, you read that book too?"
Really?
And then all of a sudden,
The Mountain Is You?
Yes, and then all of a sudden, this became like my. Am I confessing this on this? But literally, there was like a good 2 weeks when I was on tour where like, I want a pre-board. Okay, yeah. Strategically.
See if they notice it.
When I tell you, no, but the thing is also on the other side of that coin is I'm notoriously, I'm now getting over my no small talk phase. Yeah. Like, seriously, my anxiety with small talk is world famous in my circles. And so then the wrong person small talked me to death. And I just wanted to sleep on the plane. So then I retired the book and stayed inside. It stayed inside my bag. All right, these are my last 5 questions, very quick.
Okay, rapid fire.
Just sort of. I hope so. What was your favorite year?
Oh, wow. 2025.
Wow. Should I ask why, or no?
It's rapid fire, but I just...
All right. What was your least favorite year?
2020. Which I guess doesn't make sense, but there really was.
Okay. What is the greatest cereal of all time?
Cereal?
Yeah, what's the greatest cereal of all time?
Oh, man. But I feel like I have bad taste, so I feel like
We're friends now. I won't judge you.
I was going to say... No, I already feel it.
I'm not judging you.
No, I feel like you're going to have a reaction.
Just don't say grape nuts. Go ahead.
No, I wouldn't say that. I was going to say Reese's Puffs.
Huh?
Reese's Puffs. See,
Really?
Yeah, see. Okay, never mind.
No. All right. I'm only saying this because
Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
No, you know what? I'm... The shame that I feel about being late to Star Wars, I committed to peanut butter Captain Crunch, which, if you look at it, Reese's Puffs and peanut butter Captain Crunch are sort of...
It's similar.
Yeah, it's an amalgamation of Cocoa Puffs and peanut It's peanut butter and chocolate. I love Reese's. That's my favorite candy bar. But I think I'm very much stuck in the Captain Crunch world. And actually, I found out that Post cereal, they do a lot of their testing for Walmart. So Walmart's brand, Good Morning cereal, whatever. I cannot emphasize this strong enough that the morning cereals for Walmart are some of the best cereals of all time. Like, Post will actually do a lot of their experiments. They'll do La Dulce Leche, Red Velvet Cake, like all these experimental. Look, I belong to a cereal club. Why am I confessing like all these things to you? But yes.
Wait, so is Captain Crunch your answer?
Captain Crunch would be my ride or no, peanut butter Captain Crunch.
Peanut butter
would
Captain
be
Crunch.
my ride or die.
I want to say Fruity Pebbles is up there too for me.
Yeah, I love Fruity
It's
Pebbles.
what it does to the milk after.
Yes. You're absolutely right. Shout out to April Broomfield of Milk for doing the cereal milk. What is your go-to emoji? What is the emoji you use the most?
It's the laugh cry one, but
Straight up or sideways?
Straight, but everyone says that like ages you.
Oh,
Yeah,
like if I use that, then I'm admitting to the world that I'm over 50?
Yeah, like you're supposed to do the one on the side.
I do the one on the side.
Yeah, no, so you're right.
Okay.
I do the laugh cry. And then I would say that
Wait, someone's emoji shaming you right now?
Not personally, but I've just like noticed. I feel like younger people use different ones. And I do the laugh cry, and then he's saying that I do the sobbing one a lot.
Okay.
And I use that interchangeably for I'm happy or like wow.
The black-eyed sobbing one?
Just like the tears streaming down. I use that one a lot. And then just I use a heart a lot.
Okay.
I'll do this one, the hands.
Yeah.
I think those are my top contenders. What's
Wait,
yours?
are you being Gen Z shame right now?
Not me
I have a Gen Z
but...
shame that I'll share mine if you share yours. I didn't realize how old the concept of cash is.
I don't think I think I'm learning right now. I mean, I think I know, but
this current generation. So when I'm at 30 Rock, I'll sometimes maybe instead of Uber eating, I will just send an intern down to get me a slice of pizza in the basement and bring it up to my office at 30 Rock. And this was such the case where I wanted a pizza. So I got my drawer, pulled my wallet out, and look. Okay. All I know is a week later, my niece, who also interns there, kind of had a quiet intervention thing, but it's sort of like, so everyone in the office is talking about like, you have this big giant wad of cash, and I'm like, what are they saying? They're like, well, they just never seen money like that before.
oh my God.
And a wallet, like do you know what Venmo is? Do you know what and up until that point, I'd never paid for anything on my iPhone.
You never used like Apple Wallet?
I got shamed so bad that it was to the point where like I'd call my girlfriend like, yo, I just paid for gas with my iPhone. Like it was such an achievement. Like,
wait, that's amazing.
They were joking about it, but when I tell you, when I got home and the way they would just laugh at me for having a wallet with money in it, it's like I felt like boomer. What's your shame?
I think it's the emoji. It's
just using emojis?
It was just the laugh emoji that I choose. I feel like I always see them being like, oh, like millennials do that.
And I hate that feeling.
I know, me too.
I hate that feeling. I'll admit something, though. I saw a text that Lauryn Hill sent once. Correction. I saw a text that Miss Lauryn Hill sent once.
Very good.
Kind of chastised me for something I said on social media. But my only takeaway of it was like, she knows what emojis are. Yo, this is a wild episode. Do you collect anything?
Yeah.
What do you collect?
This is another wild one. Le Labo City perfumes when I travel.
Because you mentioned, there's so many things you've mentioned to me in pop culture that I've never heard of.
Have I hit the 10 mark yet? 10
I
things?
feel like this is 20. I feel like I do not deserve this show. I feel so exposed right now. So what is this?
Okay. It's the perfume brand Le Labo.
Okay.
But they have stores in different cities all around the world, and each city will have its own scent that you can only get in that city. Other than in the month of September, you can order refills online. But other than that, you can only get like Limette, I think is San Francisco or something. So like you have to go to that city to get that scent. So when I travel,
how many are made?
Someone just asked me this, and I don't know the exact number, but it's like a lot. But anyway, when I travel, I try to find the store and buy their city scent. So I have a lot of this. I probably have, I don't even know how many. I don't have all of them yet, but I have a lot
collection of
perfume. Yeah.
Nice.
Is there anything you collect?
I'm in the getting rid of things phase.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm that's a hard part. Yeah. I mean, I've collected absolutely any and everything. I think right now artwork is my thing. It used to be records, but I capped it at 200,000. So now I'm on to artwork.
You have 200,000 records.
Yeah. It used to be me just individually shopping and buying records over the years. And then in the last 5 years, many a library has shut down unceremoniously. Radio stations, right now, NPR is going through it. So I often get hey, government subsidies, we have to shut down. We have like 15,000 records in our jazz program. We can give them the goodwill, but we know you love records, Questlove. Like, if you would like these. So I've just been, in the last 5 years, taking this college's 15,000 records and
wow.
Maybe this member of the Four Tops died, and his daughter's like, "Hey,
so
Dad
you just take
had
like
these
big chunks all together."
They know I'm the record hoarder, but then
we also collect records, but nowhere near that many.
Yeah, it's bad. I just got a farm, so I'm building.
Did you?
Well, yeah, in 2020.
Are you gonna have a record house?
Yeah, I will.
Can you send me a picture?
I will send you a picture of this. Yes. I'll invite you to the grand opening.
I would love to come.
Still building it. All right. So the last thing, when all is said and done, I know this is a dumb question. What do you hope that we say about you when all is said and done?
I hope you say that she was really brave.
I'll take that. Brianna, thank you so much for coming on my show. This is a long time coming. I thought you would have never. I almost feel like this might be an exercise on your part. Like, I feel like I forced you out of your comfort zone or in the shadows or something. Or we're going to have, 6 extra weeks of sun and,
Well, that, yes, but that's just,
I feel accomplished. This was a big get for me.
This was an honor to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, friend. I appreciate it. Brianna Wiest on The Questlove Show, and I'll see you guys on the next go-around. The Questlove Show is hosted by me, Amir Questlove Thompson. The executive producers are Sean G., Brian Calhoun, and me. Produced by Brittany Benjamin and Jake Payne. Produced for iHeart by Noel Brown. Edited by Alex Conroy. iHeart video support by Mark Canton. Logos, graphics, and animation by Nick Aloe. Additional support by Lance Coleman. Special thanks to Kathy Wrong. Special thanks to Sugar Steve Mandel. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share The Questlove Show wherever you stream your podcast. Make sure you follow us on socials. That's at QLS. Check out hundreds and hundreds of QLS episodes, including the Questlove Supreme shows in our podcast archives. Questlove Show is a production of iHeartRadio.